Good day everyone. Today I am going to discuss about analyzing problems, behaviors. So first, let's have understanding about problem behaviors. Problem behaviors are actions that interfere with a child's learning, social interactions, or overall well-being. It's important to remember that these behaviors often serve as a communication tool indicating underlying needs of frustrations. Okay, so now let's move on to common problems behaviors. So here are some common problem behaviors observed in early childhood education or in children's. So first we have aggression. So hitting, beating, kicking or verbal aggression is an example of aggression. So example of this is a child pushes another child during playtime. Okay, so now non-compliance, refusing to follow instruction or rules. Example, a child refuses to clean up their toys when asked. Next, inattention, difficulty focusing on tasks or activities. So, like for example, a child frequently daydreams during a class. Next, hyperactivity, excessive energy and difficulty sitting still. Like for example, a child constantly fidgets and cannot stay seated. Next, we have withdrawal, social isolation and avoidance of social interaction. Like, for example, a child prefers for play alone and avoid group activities. Let's have a another tantrums, outburst of anger or frustration. Like for example, a child throws a temper tantrum when they don't get their way. Okay, so now let's move on to the causes of problem behaviors. So there are various factors that can contribute to problem behaviors, including developmental delays, sensory processing disorders, emotional regulation difficulties, and environmental factors, and also medical conditions. So now let's discuss first about developmental delays. So developmental delays, difficulty with social skills, communication or self-regulation. So children with developmental delays may have difficulties in areas such as language, color, motor skills, or social skills. Delays in these areas can lead to frustration, difficulty interacting with peers, and behavioral challenges. Okay, so now let's move on to sensory processing disorders. Over or under sensitivity to sensory input. So sensory processing disorders involve difficulties process sensory information such as touch, sound, or sight. So over or under sensitivity to sensory input can lead to behaviors like avoiding certain textures, being easily overwhelmed by noise, or seeking out excessive sensory stimulation. Now, let's have emotional regulation difficulties. Struggling to manage emotions like anger, frustration, or sadness. Children with emotional regulation difficulties struggle to manage their emotions, particularly strong emotions like anger, frustration, or sadness. Difficulty regulating emotions can lead to tantrums, aggression, or withdrawal. Now let's have environmental factors. Stressful home environments, inconsistent discipline, or lack of positive reinforcement. Stressful home environments such as domestic violence, parental conflict, or poverty can negatively impact a child's behavior. Inconsistent discipline can lead to confusion and frustration in children. So, a lack of positive attention and reinforcement can contribute to negative behaviors. Now let's have medical conditions. Underlying medical conditions like ADHD or anxiety. So this condition can lead to difficulties with attention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. Anxiety disorders can cause excessive worry, fear, and avoidance behaviors. Conditions like autism spectrum disorder, learning disabilities, or sleep disorders can also contribute to behavioral challenges. So now let's move on to the events in a child's life. So to understand a child's behavior, it is crucial to consider recent life events that may be impacting them. So these events can include family changes, so divorce, separation, death of a loved one, or the birth of a sibling. So significant changes in family structures can lead to stress, anxiety, and behavioral problems in children. Grief and loss can affect a child's emotional well-being and behavior. A new sibling can disrupt a child's routine and lead to feelings of jealousy or insecurity. Now we have school transitions, starting a new school or grade level. Adjusting to new environment, teachers and peers can be stressful for children. Transitioning to a new grade level can involve increased academic demands and social pressures. Next, we have social changes, making new friends or experiencing social rejection. The process of forming new friendship can be challenging for some children, especially those who are shy or socially anxious. Being excluded or bullied can lead to feelings of sadness, anger, and withdrawal. Next, we have physical changes, illness, injury, or developmental milestone. So this illness can cause discomfort, fatigue, and irritability. Physical pain and limitations can affect a child's mood and behavior. Significant developmental changes such as puberty can lead to emotional and behavioral changes. Okay, so I hope you learned from my discussion. That would be all. Thank you for listening.